Hello and welcome to today's Monday Live. You've got me, Stephanie Camilleri, founder of the ADHD Advocate, as well as Eleni Sfiroudis from America, basically. That's where are you calling from today, Eleni?
Joining in from New York, so welcome to all and happy to bring the good work from the ADHD Advocate really around the globe, and certainly on a very important day that we're recognizing. Stephanie?
Yeah. So yesterday was our 5th anniversary of the ADHD Advocate. So today marks the beginning of our 6th year. So we're very excited to be embarking upon this next year. Got some really exciting things to offer that's coming out to help better support our ADHDers. So we'll talk about that towards the end of today's live. But today we're talking about parenting with ADHD and parenting children with ADHD.
Yes, and what we've seen especially is that as parents seek a diagnosis for their kids, they often first recognize and then seek a more formal diagnosis of their own ADHD. And really, we found that the symptoms are usually there, and it's just a question of kind of piecing them all together. And it's almost a big collective sigh of relief or an aha moment when you can be validated that your symptoms are not something you're making up or struggling with on your own. ADHD is very much something that can be supported, and through education and community support, we can do certainly wonderful things.
Yeah, I mean, we have both personal and professional experience of this, both being parents of kids with ADHD, having ADHD ourselves. We know what it's like, don't we, to, parent children with ADHD when you don't know they've got ADHD, as well as not knowing you've got ADHD and not having any support for that ADHD as well. It is the hardest thing to do, isn't it, in those circumstances?
It certainly is. And we also know that other conditions like to coexist with ADHD. So getting an accurate diagnosis, not only for your ADHD, but whatever else we might need to support, certainly that is just a crucial first step of this journey.
Yeah, we're very much all about naming it to tame it at the ADHD Advocate. When you know better, you do better generally, although we are dealing with ADHDers. So we don't necessarily do what we know, unfortunately, do we, Eleni?
No, Stephanie's absolutely right. And certainly some of these becoming better aware of what symptoms of your ADHD can most often get in your way is a wonderful first step to acknowledging how to best support yourself. And once you've embarked on that journey, your family, and that's where our parent education course can really come in and help streamline things in your home, because we know once your children are at school and there's structure and routine, a lot of times when you come home, things can be quite different. At least they are in my house. And recognizing the triggers and what, more so than the triggers, what your child needs to be successful are things that we talk about in our online training course, and can help you replicate that structure and that setting for success for your children and for your family.
Yeah, it's crucial, isn't it, that you're able to look through the ADHD lens when you're trying to raise a child with ADHD, but also in terms of, when you go to judge your own parenting, we are very hard on ourselves. Our negative self-talk is off the charts. We carry a lot of guilt and shame. I mean, parents generally, but when you're a parent with ADHD, with kids with ADHD, the guilt and shame can be overwhelming, crippling even.
Yes, and I think to add to what Stephanie said about the ADHD lens, it's understanding the child that you have and the gifts that do come with ADHD or whatever, diagnosis or not, to embrace the situation and the child that you are going to raise, and sort of abandoning the idea of something else in your mind that isn't maybe something that is going to work for your family. That first step of acknowledgement and embarking on that path is really the first beginning of that journey, looking through that ADHD lens.
Yeah, definitely. And I think as parents with ADHD, because of the rejection sensitive dysphoria, a lot of individuals with ADHD are perfectionists, and they really do set the bar very high, and unfortunately often without perspective, without context. And that's why, as Eleni was saying, it's really important to be able to to see through that lens, to be able to maybe readjust your expectations and, you know, design your life around the ADHD, yours and the kids, because that's really the only way that you're going to be able to thrive with ADHD. So that's
absolutely. And Stephanie touched on something that is probably can be one of the most debilitating symptoms of ADHD, and that is RSD, rejection sensitivity dysphoria. And just to recap what that is, it's just the perception that you're being excluded or rejected or criticized. And I can't overemphasize that symptom, because the severity of it is just so tremendous. And those that are not so familiar with how really crippling that can be, maybe don't understand how that fits into the ADHD world that we find ourselves in.
Yeah, because as much as we talk about the ADHD lens, we often in coaching, we do talk about the RSD lens. And we found a lot of our parents with ADHD, once they're kind of using that kind of language and viewing things through that lens, you know, they're able to be kinder to themselves and set more realistic expectations and manage you know, the effects of the RSD when it hits, because when it hits, you know, it's not a pretty sight for a lot of parents with ADHD, a lot of defensiveness, a lot of anger. We tend to react. And let's face it, with our kids with ADHD, it's really important that we can hold the space for them. And RSD is not our friend when it comes to trying to hold the space, is it?
No, Stephanie's absolutely right. And in our parent training course, we do talk about ways to get into the headspace to parent a place of positivity and strength, rather than letting that all those sort of negative emotions from RSD sort of creep into our mindset, and ways to just sort of get those out of the picture so that we can focus on the good.
Yeah. So do check out our online parent education course. It's really important. Like, it's one thing to be able to support your child with ADHD. We do offer coaching for kids and teenagers with ADHD, and it is really effective. However, that being said, it's really important that the parents also can look through the lens, that they can also adopt the strategies that their kids need in order to retain that new, more empowering narrative, hopefully, that we equip them with, and to also help them design their life around their ADHD, their dominant processing styles, helping them leverage their strengths, you know, to help them tell that new, more empowering story about themselves. So it's, yeah, really important as parents for you to get on board, but it's not easy to do it by yourself. And we definitely don't recommend that you try, because we've been there. And we need and deserve all the support we can get, don't we?
That's right. That's right, Stephanie. Absolutely. We believe education is certainly the first step, and you do have a team of coaches here ready to support you on your ADHD journey.
Yeah, so do check us out. You can check us out on our website, www.theadhdadvocate.com. We'll also send a link in the comment section linking to our parent education course, which is going to be available on our new ADHD Academy, our website. And watch that space, because we've got more courses coming and will be made available. The Academic Success Program being one of them. And I guess we'll talk about that maybe in another live soon. But do check us out, and we look forward to supporting you.
Yes, we do. Thank you.
Thanks. Have a good week.
Bye-bye.